Hi everyone, Cody here, and welcome back to my lab. So, to the chagrin of some and the relief of others, I will not be working on the vacuum chambers today. Instead, later, I will be going on a red-eye flight over to New Hampshire. I'm going over there because about 6 months ago a school emailed me asking if I could come give a talk and visit some classes. Now, I love doing that sort of thing, so of course I said yes. At the time, I didn't really know that it was on the other side of the country, but since they're paying for my flight, I figured, why not? So since I'm getting on an airplane, I figured I'd do some sort of experiment related to flying. And I have one in mind that I've always wanted to try. You see, I've heard that being on an airplane, you should actually be a little bit lighter. You should have less gravity on an airplane than you do here on the ground. It's not going to be a lot less. In fact, I figured it was around 0.3%. But 0.3% on something that weighs, say, 300 grams would be about a gram, which would be totally easy to measure. Now, unfortunately, my precision lab balance, which is accurate to plus or minus 3 milligrams, is a little bit too big to bring on carry-on. So I'm going to have to use something a little bit smaller, something a little more portable. And so I have this little digital jewelry scale here. And this is not the best scale. In fact, it's about 10 times worse than the lab balance. This one's accurate to plus or minus about 30 milligrams. It is a pretty high-end scale for its size, and it should do pretty well. Now, it has a capacity of 500 grams, so if I have something that's somewhat less than that, but also fairly large, I should be able to detect a 1 gram difference pretty easily. Now, the object I chose for this is actually this 1-inch tungsten cube. I chose tungsten because it's very dense. I've got a lot of mass in a small area. This weighs around 300 grams, and yet it is very small. Now, the idea here is that it's small enough that airport security isn't going to flag me as carrying a blunt object that could do harm, even though I imagine this would do quite a bit of damage if this hit someone. But also, tungsten is not magnetic. It isn't going to be affected by magnetic fields. The density, of course, is going to make it so air pressure changes aren't going to have much of an effect on its weight. And tungsten is very hard, so I can scratch it and rub it on things, and it's not going to lose any metal. Now, my fingerprints and stuff, unfortunately, are going to cause its weight to be a little bit off, but this scale, being as inaccurate as it is, fingerprints are really not going to be a problem. I'm looking for an effect that is much larger than fingerprints, or even air currents, really. So, let's get some base measurements, and then let's take it on an airplane and see if we can measure the weight of the cube up in the sky. So here we are in my living room, and this is the counter where the TV is sitting. And I'm actually going to just weigh this cube right here. Let's see what we get. So 295 grams almost exactly. Let's get a few more measurements so we can get sort of an average here, because this scale does have some variation in its accuracy. So you can see maybe just slightly less than the 295. Alright. Let me actually try something just to make sure this tabletop here is level. So let's open this app on my phone. You can see that it's pretty close to level. I'm probably going to use this on the airplane as well, just to prove that the tray table is level. Because being unlevel will cause the scale to mess up. See if I can just move this up a little bit. See its weight changes, especially when the block slides off, but you guys get the idea. If something's on an inclined plane, it will have a different weight. Another thing that's maybe going to be a problem with the plane is if the plane's doing this. I don't know. Maybe I'll just have to film for a minute or two at a time and then get like an average. But anyway, I'm going to go get packed and we're going to head to the airport and get on the plane.
Attention in the boarding area, I need security.
So hard to get a clean reading. Yeah, plane's shaking around. think what I'll do is just like take a bunch of readings at different points and then take an average. Gravity is stronger here. So the difference in weight between this cube in Salt Lake City and this cube in Manchester is about the same as the weight of an empty sugar packet. See that? About 0.2 grams. It's not a lot, but it's definitely there, and I'm inclined to believe the scale. That is far too much to be just a calibration error. That is an actual number difference. Let's see if temperature had any effect on that scale. So it's been in here for about 2 hours. So it's cooled down to probably around 38 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's turn it on. Let's see what we get when we put this block on there. Okay. So if it did change it, it didn't change it much. Still seeing about 20.2 heavier. Okay, it's time to see if after a 4,000 mile round trip it still weighs the same. And it does. Look at that. It's exactly the same. I'll take a little bit of an average here, but it looks like, yeah, 295.01 seems to be about the average. So, there you go. The cube actually changed weight at the different weighing locations. That is cool. So, I wanted to know just how much of the weight change is due directly from altitude. So I'm actually going to go drive up the hill, go up Logan Canyon here, and go up the same elevation difference as we had from going from Logan to down near sea level. So we should be able to weigh the cube again, see if the cube, it should weigh less, see just how much less it does. Now, we're not really changing my latitude very much, and the density of the rocks are all about the same here, so let's go find out, shall we? Okay, so I'm up at the Bear Lake overlook. You can see the lake down there through my back window, and I'm as close to the summit as I could drive to. I think this is just under 8,000 feet here, so not quite as high as I'd like, but should be decent enough to notice something. So here's my level. You can see that it is indeed leveled on this board that I got here on the front seat. Let's put the cube on the scale and see what we get. Okay. Right about 294.95, so it has lost a little bit of weight. Let's do this a couple of times just to get sort of a average here. Yeah. How about that? That's the least it's weighed the entire trip. Oh, yeah, there we go. So it looks like it's lost around 5 to 7 1/100ths of a gram, so that's 50 to 60 milligrams.